The daily code snippet. When applying these styles to text, it will affect all the content inside an element as one entity. You will not be able to style subsections of text unless you wrap that text in another element such as a span, em, or strong. But there are pseudo-elements that you can use in specific instances. The pseudo-elements we will go over are first letter, first line, and selection. These are self-explanatory. First letter affects the first letter of an element's text. First line selects the first line of an element's text. And selection alters text that is selected by the cursor. Let's look at some examples. Here is the HTML. As with previous examples, we have truncated the placeholder lorem ipsum text. You can see that in this section, we simply have paragraph text, but have not added additional elements or class attributes other than the heading. Here is the CSS. We will use the first letter pseudo-element to add a drop cap. We add a float so that the rest of the text will wrap around the letter. We adjust the font size and line height so that it becomes a drop cap. The padding is adjusted to fix the spacing around the letter. Here is the CSS for first line and selection. We use first line to create a different style for lead-in text, and selection will be used to mimic the action of a highlighter. This is how pseudo-elements will display. In our first example, we see how our first letter CSS has created our drop cap. The first line pseudo-element creates a different style for our lead-in text. However, in our second example, we see how this may be different from creating a span element with a class attribute for lead-in text. Our change is confined to the first line of text rather than a particular grouping of text. So as the browser width is adjusted, what text receives the first line treatment will change. Finally, selection simulates the highlighting of text by selecting text with our cursor. The highlighted text will change depending on the location of our cursor and how much text we have selected. Changing the background color to yellow simulates a highlighter. Now we can take a look at some text layout properties. We use text align to adjust the alignment of text within its containing element. The acceptable values for text align are left, to left align the text, right, to right align the text, center, to center the text, justify, to justify the text so that all the lines of text have the same width. The gaps between words will vary. Justifying text should be accompanied with some level of hyphenation, or the spacing between words can look bad, especially if the text contains several long words. Let's look at some examples to observe the differences between these options. Here's the HTML. As you can see, we have taken lorem ipsum placeholder text and placed it into 4 different paragraph text examples, each with a unique class. For class left align, we will left align the text. For class right align, we will right align the text. For center align, we will center the text. And for class justification, we will justify the text. Here is the CSS. In our first 2 examples, we will left align the text, text align left, and right align text, text align right. We have made the width a little bit shorter so that we can see these changes a little bit better. In the second set of examples, we will center align the text with width 80% text align center, and class justification, we will justify the text. Text align justify. Here is the result. For text align set to left, the straight edge helps us identify the left margin to which the text aligns. In this example, the straight edge shows how the text aligns to the right. Here, the straight edge is at the center, and the text balances equally on either side. With justify, the text stretches across from the left margin to the right margin. You can see that the gap between words varies. So in some instances, the text looks too spaced out, while in other areas it is too tight. We have not added hyphenation, but this would be recommended to balance the lines and spacing. Presented by Designers Learn Code.